Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Pohl. I'm a professor at Northeastern Illinois University in Chicago, Illinois. And I want to talk briefly about my forthcoming book on Aquaman, entitled Aquaman and the War Against Oceans, subtitled Comics Allegory, Ecofeminism in the Black Atlantic and the Anthropocene. So hopefully the title gives some suggestion of the theoretical energy of this project. So why Aquaman? I became interested initially because of an interview written by Jeff Johns. So my book project primarily focuses on the New 52 Aquaman, which was published between 2011 and 2014. The sole writer is Jeff Johns. The primary artists are Ivan Reis, Radres, and Joe Prado. But in an interview preceding the launch of the New 52, Jeff Johns said that his 3-year run is going to be animated by ecological commitments, but they'll be more allegorical than literal. And this got me very interested, right? Both because I'm interested in the ecological humanities, and specifically here the blue humanities. But what does it mean to develop an ecological commitment, thinking about the ocean through allegory? And more specifically, how does the medium of comics verbalize and visualize environmental allegories? So my book traces and delineates how both at the level of the text and artwork work to create these really complex, important allegories. So allegory literally means others speaking. It's a literary device committed to hearing and making legible the voices of others, voices made other by reigning ideologies. And in the Anthropocene, the ocean has been made other. So Aquaman is not just the king of Atlantis, but he's the protector of the ocean. This is an image from issue number 24 of the New 52 Aquaman. In one of the narrative arcs of the entire series, Aquaman is struggling whether he should commit to the surface world or the ocean world. But after everything he experiences on the surface, he returns to the ocean and says to the marine multitude, I will not abandon you again. And part of what my book is really interested in about the New 52 Aquaman, is this allegory about how the Anthropocene is waging a centuries-long war on the ocean, and Aquaman doing this really important work of protecting the marine multitude and making the surface world understand their violent practices, which constitutes the everyday of global capitalism. So in the 20th century, the global ocean has become largely foreign to the humanity's consciousness and imagination. In 2010, 1 year before the official launch of the New 52 Aquaman, the Census of Marine Life published the results of their 10-year project that recorded the diversity, distribution, and abundance of life in the ocean. And this was a collective international effort in which more than 2,700 scientists of 80 nations participated, and they concluded that the ocean's becoming a graveyard. And the argument I make is that the New 52 Aquaman is helping narrate and visualize this global tragedy, in a popular form and in an allegorical form. So maybe an obvious point, but it's important worth stressing. The global ocean covers more than 70% of the Earth's ocean. It offers more than 99% of the Earth's habitable living space. We live on an oceanic planet, right? It's a blue planet. Yet most of the narratives we tell are almost exclusively committed to the land. We have a terrestrial bias, right? And I'm really interested in the larger movement of the blue humanities, of putting the ocean at the center of our thinking. And by looking at the ocean, we don't turn away from humanity. The ocean's the story of the Black Atlantic, right? The Middle Passage. It's so important to indigenous identity, indigenous practices. It's central to all human activities. But the tension is, which I explore in my book, is that Aquaman in the late 20th century and the early 21st century, he's a perennial joke, right? From the cartoons he's presented in, from the Big Bang Theory, Family Guy, SpongeBob, Robot Chicken, Entourage, right? And even in the first issue of Aquaman, the New 52 in November 2011, it begins by every character, robbers and cops, saying, right? They have this shared sensibility that Aquaman is a joke. Dude, is that Aquaman? Cops say, "Oh hell, what's Aquaman doing here? We're not in the ocean. I don't see any fish around." They're parallel, whether they're robbers or cops. This sort of like disdain, disrespect for Aquaman, right? Aquaman stops these robbers, and one police officer says, "I can't believe we just got upstaged by Aquaman. The boys at the station are never going to let us hear the end of this." Um, so what I'm interested in as a whole, I'll be done in 20 seconds, is how does the New 52 Aquaman challenge and change the way we see Aquaman and allegorically the ocean? Because as a symbol, Aquaman represents the entire ocean. And what does that mean? That for so many decades, Aquaman is seen as a joke and not taken seriously. To think about why, read my forthcoming book. And I'll just give you my email again at the end. But as I get there really quickly, I'll skip this for the sake of time. To jump to the end of my book, the New 52 Aquaman paved the way for really diverse representations of Aquaman, including Kelly Sue DeConnick's run, which just recently concluded. She's of course, one of the most important feminist um, comic in the comic industry. This great book, You Brought Me the Ocean, which is the story of Aqualad, a great queer coming of age narrative, and most famously probably Jason Momoa, who's a self-proclaimed ocean activist wanting to be a brown and indigenous Superman. What is superhero? So what does that mean that Aquaman is transformed from someone that's like stereotypically white to someone that is committed to ocean activism, and that's an indigenous brown superhero. Again, my name is Ryan Pohl. There's my email, r-pohl.neiu.edu. I welcome all questions or comments or suggestions, and thank you for your time, and I greatly look forward to listening and learning from everyone else's papers.